Welcome, everyone, to a virtual representation of the Daytona International Speedway 2007 edition. I am Tyler Head, alongside Parker Alexander, for tonight's coverage of the WINSTEL Shootout at Daytona, the opening event of the WINSTEL 400 Speed Weeks. An exciting event on tap tonight for dedicated WINSTEL members who have had success either in the WINSTEL 400 over the last 10 years or within the league seasons that have run over the last 5 years. We've got a field of 15 on tap for tonight. They're all vying for a $50 prize, and that is the only thing on the line is $50 for the winner. So it's going to be a no-holds-barred run to the finish over the course of this 30-lap event. Parker, as these guys wrap up qualifying, what are you expecting to see?
I'm expecting to see some exciting racing, Tyler. These guys are going to be putting it all on the line, of course, for that $50. And, man, 30 laps, not a lot of time. So if you get messed up, you get crossed up, you get put into the back of the pack, there's not a lot of time to get yourself back up there. So you got to really just make sure you time your moves correctly and make sure you put yourself in that good spot.
One green-white checker is available should it be necessary tonight. One fast repair is available to tonight's competitors should they find trouble while out on the track. But to your point, Parker, there's not going to be a lot of time to recover if you find trouble during tonight's event. And trouble will likely be just one slip away, with these guys having an urgent need to get to the front as fast as possible with a limited number of laps and only one driver walking away with any of the prize money. Looking at the starting grid as they get ready to roll off, on the pole, Blake Reynolds, a winner of the WINSTEL 400 in years past. Brennan McGee, a longtime promoter of WINSTEL and the WINSTEL 400, on the outside pole. We've got Dustin Montgomery in third, Emily Howe fourth, Dylan Roberts in fifth, and Gabriel Mauricio in sixth. Nicholas Doucette, a champion in the WINSTEL series, is going to start ninth. Christian Budd, also a champion, is going to, seventh, and Christian Budd's going to start eighth. Logan Kress in ninth, the former winner of the WINSTEL 400, and Jeremy Davis in 10th.
Starting 11th. Oh.
Pardon me, I am rude. Continue, Parker.
Starting 11th, it's Brandon Cruz-Montevich. He, of course, won the WINSTEL 400 in the past year. Then starting 12th, it's Brandon McKissick, former champion of the league. Starting 13th, it's Aaron Smith II. And then to his outside in 14th, it's Jose Salas Jr. And then rounding out your field, it's the 98 of Philip Snipes. He's, of course, a two-time WINSTEL Shootout champion.
And the promoter's choice entry for tonight's field. The grid is just wrapping up now. We're about to see these guys roll off and begin their pace lap, and in 2.5 miles, they will be taking the green flag for tonight's event. Obviously, with WINSTEL regulars finding their way into this race via finishing in the top 10 in the most recent season or being a former champion of the series, or by having won the WINSTEL 400, which has been held at this track in each of its previous 9 iterations, this year being the 10th running. There's a lot of super speedway experience in the field. Obviously, a WINSTEL 400 winner, Blake Reynolds on the pole, Brennan McGee right to his outside, a unashamedly super speedway fanatic, and it just goes on and on as you go throughout the field. I think we're in for a show tonight.
I agree. You also got to watch out for that 83 car of Emily Howe. She is a super speedway master. She, of course, has her own school of drafting. So she is always one to look out for, as well as Dylan Roberts. He's won a few plate races in WINSTEL.
And noteworthy about Emily Howe, turns the virtual wrenches for WINSTEL on most occasions, including for tonight's event. Crafted the setup that's going to be piloted by each of these drivers. Also, a major contributor to the WINSTEL 400, which will be held 1 week from tomorrow. So, aside from all of that, as Parker said, a very talented super speedway racer, somebody to keep an eye out on. But a field stacked full of equally impressive talent when it comes to that. We're about to see who's going to reign supreme here as the field comes off at turn 4 and the pace car ducks down towards the pit lane. And the green flag is out for the WINSTEL Shootout. Looks like a good jump on the bottom for Blake Reynolds. Gets up in front of Brendan McGee, but that checks up the outside line a little bit. A lot of shuffling already for position. They navigate their way through a very bumpy set of corners through turns 1 and 2 and down to the backstretch. Reynolds and Montgomery have hooked up at the front. Everybody behind them trying to find their way up.
Now you see what Montgomery and Reynolds are trying to do there. It's the tandem draft. You can really get that working here at this track, unlike the other super speedway tracks here on iRacing. This track really seems to work well with that. The cars don't get as squirrely as they do at the other tracks, but as we say that, here comes Dylan Roberts on the outside with Nicholas Doucette.
Something that was found in testing for next Sunday's event, but will certainly apply tonight. Very, very equal footing from the outside line to the inside line. The bumps on the inside allow the outside to keep its momentum a little bit better, but that shorter way around is very tempting as well. So it's really going to come down to who you have organized in each lane and how well of a job they are doing generating the energy needed to propel forward. And we're seeing it right now. You've got Roberts and Doucette up on that high line trying to make ground, but Reynolds and Montgomery at the moment reigning supreme on the bottom.
Yeah, that bottom line looking like it's getting about 2 car lengths out from that top line. The top line kind of fading back a little bit.
Riding on board with Doucette as he's getting up there, giving a couple of shoves to Dylan Roberts, a champion of WINSTEL past, and a very, very proficient plate racer himself.
Very surprising to see that outside line kind of struggle as, well, it's kind of starting to gain a little bit of ground now. Dylan Roberts still out there on the outside, uncontested.
Something that's going to be an element, most likely, is managing engine temperatures, and that might cause a bit of an ebb and flow between one line or the other. Being able to gain ground as the pusher is able to lay that bumper down to the guy in front of them and really give them a good shove, make up a lot of ground. But when they have to back off and give their engine a little bit of breathing room, that's where the other line can make up some ground. I think we'll see some ebbing and flowing throughout tonight's event.
Both lanes looking very much even now, as it's still Blake Reynolds out there continuing to lead here on lap 4. He switches up to the high side right in front of Dylan Roberts, who was getting a pretty good run down the back. And now they're trying to do the tandem as here comes Dylan Roberts to the outside.
Yep, we're already seeing some defensive driving with just 3 laps complete, working lap 4 of this event. Reynolds has led every lap from the pole thus far, but Roberts is mounting a decent charge on the outside. Here he comes side by side. It's going to be very close to see who leads lap number 4 here at the stripe. They are dead even as they work their way to turn 1.
Reynolds pokes out in front there on the inside line. They've gained more of an advantage as, of course, on the straightaways, that outside line is going to be a lot faster because they're able to carry more momentum as, oh, Dylan Roberts switches to the inside. He's going to take the lead from Blake Reynolds. What a move.
He works it. Now they've swapped lanes. Now Doucette's going to be pushing Reynolds, and Roberts is going to be receiving the push from Montgomery. I was about to say it looked like that inside line got broken up a little bit, but that swap that they did really changed the direction of momentum for one lane or the other. Dylan Roberts at the point as they complete lap 5.
We got about a 3-car breakaway on the outside there. It looks like there's a bit of a gap between Brendan McGee and Emily Howe. That outside line is now kind of broken up a little bit, and the inside line has all the momentum.
Yeah, when Reynolds went up to make that move to block, and Roberts countered to get underneath of him, that really stalled out the outside lane. Now we're seeing 3 cars able to break away from the double file, but momentum being regained on that outside line as Doucette's giving a big shove down the back straightaway to Reynolds, and they're surging back on the top.
Now Doucette switches to the bottom right in front of Emily Howe. That inside line looking like it's very much prevailing early as there's only about 5 cars on that outside line.
Reynolds looking for a friend right now. Maybe he has one in Brendan McGee behind him. Meanwhile, Poking to the outside for the lead is Montgomery, but I'm not sure if anybody's going to come up to help.
Nobody does.
Indeed, Crest fills the hole, Doucette follows through, and now he's in the sucker hole, 3 wide as they're going around him on both sides.
Gotta watch that 3 wide stuff, because with the current side draft model on iRacing, you really get slowed down whenever you go 3 wide. It slows you down a ton, but they are able to figure it out here as we go through 3 and 4.
On the back straightaway there, Nick Doucette tried to make a big move to the inside, trying to gain position. Almost went across that yellow line. Now, in real life, going across the yellow line is a no-no. But in WINSTEL, as has been tradition for the entirety of its existence, the yellow line is not out of bounds. That is available to these drivers should they want to go down there and try to make position. They just have to get it tidied up by the time they get to the corner. Otherwise, of course, things can get messy in a hurry. Now Doucette working to the outside, not contending with that yellow line at all.
And now he's going to switch underneath Dylan Roberts. He's going to leave him to absolutely hang out to dry as Nicholas Doucette takes the lead.
Doucette bobbing and weaving his way from 3rd to 1st in the matter of a straightaway there. One move to the outside, another to the inside, and Roberts paying the price for those moves, plummeting right now to the middle of the pack.
Yeah, the outside line not formed up again, but it seems like it's very easy for it to get formed up, so they're able to easily come back and gain all the ground.
Something that we're seeing early on in this race with 8 laps complete. Where somebody is 1 lap, don't count on it being the same the next lap, because things are changing in a hurry. The runs are big and they come quick.
That's absolutely correct. As you see that, I don't know who that is, I'm sorry. Jeremy B. Davis, it looks like, switches up to the outside line, right? Oh, we got trouble! Big trouble in the back. I believe that's Jeremy Davis as he goes around right in front of the field.
Christian Budd also getting sideways as everybody tries to maneuver around this. Looking like a couple of cars have tagged each other and gotten damaged, but everybody's still rolling at this point. Jeremy B. Davis involved in the incident here on lap 9, and that brings out the caution.
Gonna have to get a replay to look back and see what happened there, but I think
looking from turn 3 down the backstretch here.
Oh, just a bump gone wrong. He got bumped on that left rear corner. That's something you want to avoid in these cars. That left rear corner will really turns these cars around whenever you get onto it, and that's what happened right there.
Yeah, you see Montgomery comes up, tries to give a good shove to Davis. It just gets his car dancing, and as it does, the bumper meets the left rear of Davis's car, and that's going to send somebody around pretty quick. But that's how it goes here. The pushing's the name of the game, and if you can get it done right, you make a lot of speed. But if it goes wrong quick.
That is absolutely correct. As here we see an onboard shot from Brendan McGee. Going down the back straightaway, you see there's Jeremy B. Davis getting turned, and looks like Emily Howe got into the back of Bud whenever they were checking up. Brennan does a great job of avoiding that 50 car.
Yeah, so the 12 with Davis going around. I'm not sure how severe the damage is for the 12, but the 83 and the 50 getting significant contact. Now, all of those drivers are going to have to weigh for themselves whether or not they want to utilize their fast repair during this caution period. There's only 20 laps to go right now. Likely will only be 18 or so laps to go when we get restarted. Not a lot of race left, and there's a good chance that we go green to the end, but there's also a good chance that you might want that fast repair in your back pocket. So not an easy decision to have to make at this point in the race, as Nick Doucette easily wins the race off of pit road.
I believe that was no tires and just fuel for Nick Doucette, but I don't know, man. I believe guys like Christian Budd, Jeremy Davis, and Jose Solis Jr. are definitely going to have to take those fast repairs. They had some pretty hefty hits onto their cars. So they're probably going to have to take their fast repair early, which is, like you said, Tyler, not something you want to do this early in the race. We're not even halfway through the race, and they already had to use up their crutch.
Yes, because you know the intensity is just going to continue to pick up as the laps wind down, and there's a good chance that, you know, depending on where you are, when all heck breaks loose, that you're going to want to have that in your back pocket. But at the end of the day, if you're not able to compete, it's a complete non-issue. So it looks like Howe has decided to sit on pit road and get damage fixed. Looks like the machine for the 50 of Christian Budd still has cosmetic damage at the very least. The same applies to the 75 of Jose Salas Jr. as they roll down the back straightaway and look to get caught back up with the pack. Now, it's possible they may have assessed their situation and they may decide to go ahead and get their fast repairs when they come back down pit road. But for the time being, they've opted not to use them.
That's a very good point. I am very surprised that Jose Salas Jr. hasn't taken his fast repair. He has heavy damage on the front end of his car. We're going to have to see how that performs here as we come back to green.
I would say Emily Howe is very committed to keeping the fast repair in her back pocket because she waited until the pace car got all the way around to the front straightaway before leaving her pit stall. So probably has made her bed at least for this caution period as the field is doubling up, getting ready to restart next time by. When they line back up for the restart, looks like we've got Nick Doucette. He won the race off of pit road. He's going to start on the inside of the front row. Dylan Roberts is going to be to his right flank. Starting in third, Logan Kress. In fourth, it's going to be Blake Reynolds, tonight's pole sitter. Fifth should be Dustin Montgomery. Sixth, Brandon McKissick, a former champion in WINSTEL. Seventh, Brendan McGee. Eighth, Gabe Mauricio. Ninth, Brandon Cruz Monsifis, winner of the WINSTEL 400 in years past. Jeremy B. Davis in 10th. Philip Snipes in 11th. Jose Salas Jr. in 12th, and Christian Budd in 13th. And noting for those two, as we've been documenting throughout this caution period, they appear to still have cosmetic damage on their vehicles, so they've also opted to keep that fast repair in their hip pocket. Aaron Smith, the second, rolling around, looks like he has a fresh car. He may have burned up his during this caution period, but we'll see. The field's coming off at turn number 4, getting stacked back up and ready to roll. First restart of the evening imminent as they work into the restart zone, and out comes the green flag. A pretty even jump for both lanes as they work their way through the tri-oval and down towards the bumpy set of corners, turns 1 and 2.
On the inside, it's Nicholas Doucette. On the outside, it's Dylan Roberts. Nicholas Doucette poking out to an early lead here with help from Logan Kress.
A lot of maneuvering right now, trying to get situated, seeing if you can establish a good push. And right there we see a little bit of a dicey situation between Doucette and Kress, as Kress tried to get lined up on the bumper to push, got the 51 a little bit squirrely, but everybody continues on. So far, good news for the bottom line as they surge forward, and the outside line struggling to get momentum. And ooh, a big maneuver right there.
It looks like Philip Snipes had to get on the apron. He has a little bit of damage to his front end. I'm not sure if that's from the last caution or not, or if that was just sustained under the green flag.
I think that damage, if there was already damage on that 98, I believe it just got worse. Philip now finds himself working with Howe and Jose back there. But yeah, it looks like Philip picked up some damage there before dropping out of line. Meanwhile, up ahead of them, the dicing continues. We see the 51 and 2 set trying to work the high line, trying to prevent the runs from coming to either side of them.
That 12th car of Dustin Montgomery had Nicholas Doucette all jacked up going into 3 as they're now 3 wide with Brendan McGee, Logan Kress, and Dustin Montgomery. They're 3 by 3.
3 by 3 behind you. Which lane are you going to cover up? Doucette says, I'm going to cover up this bottom line, get the push from Brendan McGee, who clears that 3 abreast battle and gets into second place and onto the bumper of the 51.
Dylan Roberts very on the, as Brendan McGee is jacking up Nick Doucette. Nick Doucette is getting all jacked up by everybody here in this race, as Brendan McGee giving him a great push. They're about 2 or 3 car lengths ahead of the field.
You're on board with the 51 right now, and you can see no room for anything between those 2 cars as they finally get separated in the middle of these corners. But a big shove down the back straightaway gives them a little bit of breathing room. But if they don't sustain that push, they might get swallowed up here. Oh, whoa! That was close. Everybody's just holding on right now. And even as they're keeping it straight, they're side drafting each other.
We are only halfway through the race, and the intensity has picked up tenfold from the start, as they are now settling out kind of a little bit, 2 by 2, not 3 by 3 at least, as Logan Kress takes the lead.
Yeah, Kress holding on, taking every shove and, squirrely all the way across the track, but nonetheless surged through the bottom and into the lead briefly. But now Doucette and McGee have regained the momentum on the top. They're pretty even as they work their way through turns 3 and 4.
Brandon Cruz Montesifice on the back straightaway tried to use that apron to his advantage. He tried to get underneath Blake Reynolds. It did not work, and that gives Nicholas Doucette the advantage on the outside line as he is the leader.
Doucette and McGee working on the top. Kress and Reynolds working on the bottom. Pushing very aggressively with 14 laps left in this event. Again, a reminder, there's $50 on the line. It's all going to the winner. Everybody else is going home with not even a penny. So as much as they are pushing each other and working together right now, at some point the friends are going to go out the window. And for what it's worth, I don't know how much anybody's being a friend tonight so much as they are begrudgingly working together.
That is very true, Tyler. Man, this pack is really starting to accordion up again. Nicholas Doucette out to a pretty sizable lead, but here comes Brendan McGee on the inside at the start-finish line. What a move by Brendan McGee. It looks like he's going to maybe get cleared. No, he's not, as he's still side by side with Nick Doucette. He doesn't have that much help on the inside. It looks like Nicholas Doucette might prevail here.
He needs that 30 car of Kress to get up to him. Here is Kress onto the back bumper of the 94 as they go down the back straightaway. Trying to get a shove, but losing ground to the 51 and the 12, who's recovered from that spin that brought out the caution to get back up into second already.
The pack got kind of jumbled up there as they had to pass the lap car of Emily Howell. I guess she went down the pit road and got her fast repair. Speaking of fellas who got their fast repair, Jeremy B. Davis up to second after just spinning out about 5 laps ago. As here comes Dylan Roberts to the bottom. What a move. He went from top to bottom on Jeremy B. Davis. Not going to get the lead, though.
No, but does surge up into second. And I was just about to say, it looks like the bottom has gotten disorganized and everybody's migrated their way to the top. That changed that in a hurry, as now Dylan forcing it under the yellow line on the 51 of Doucette. Is it going to work out? Brennan's getting put in the sucker hole, working his way to the back as they are dicey going into turn 3.
Oh, my. Oh, Brandon Cruz Montesifice getting stuck on the apron. He was all sorts of squirrely going through 3 and 4. Oh, my goodness. Now Dylan Roberts is in the lead, followed by Nick Doucette. That inside line is an absolute shambles.
The 54 Montesifice, I mean, it's legal to work underneath the yellow line in the corner, but far from recommended. He did a good job of holding on to it, but now we have contact. They keep it straight, but boy, he just bodied Brendan McGee as he tried to give a little bit of room to the car on his inside. They continue on.
Brendan is not going to like that. He is not very patient with that kind of stuff. As the pack is now really single file, we got like a 5-car group up front. But of course, as I say that, here comes Blake Reynolds underneath the 12 of Dustin Montgomery.
Yeah, we're coming to 10 laps to go, and I kind of get the sense that there's a lot of people in the field right now who would like to position themselves and get to the end of the race. But the runs, again, just come so quick, and the push develops those runs so quickly. It's hard to get situated and ride around until you feel like the moment is right to strike. But at the moment, the top 3 have been able to break away.
They've been able to break away for now, but I have a feeling that second pack is about to come surging back in a hurry, as they are headed by Blake Reynolds. Blake Reynolds, of course, a eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series driver. As here he comes on the outside of Jeremy B. Davis.
Ooh, caught Davis sleeping there maybe a little bit in the corner, able to get to the outside on the right rear quarter panel of that 12, shuffle him to the inside. Oh, there's a lot of contact coming out.
Contact. As
everybody's trying to keep it
Christian Budd with quite the save as he goes to the grass. Gabe Maruscio ducking underneath Brendan McGee. What a save by these competitors. That was something.
That was some very aggressive maneuvering, trying to get into the line that was moving forward. And couple people with the same idea coming together there, but they're able to drive out of it and continue on. But a lot of that's shaken up the field quite a bit, and now the top four were broken away from everybody, but they've decided to go side by side with each other.
Yeah, that is, of course, going to slow them down a lot with the side draft. But, of course, these other packs have to get reorganized if they want any chance at all of being able to contend with these four.
Yeah, as they cross the stripe here with 8 laps to go, there's about 0.7 of a second between 4th and 5th, 0.6 of a second between 6th and 7th, and it gets a bit more scattershot after you get outside the top 10. So there's going to have to be some, as Darrell Waltrip would say, co-opetition between everybody from 5th on back if they're going to get back into the fray here, because time's running out quickly.
As that 4-car breakaway is now kind of looking like a 3-car breakaway, as Dustin Montgomery has lost the draft a little bit. And it looks like Nick Doucette's trying to make something work here, to no avail, as those front two are kind of scooting away from him as well.
Yeah, the 31 of Roberts really got up on the back end of the 66 of Reynolds and gave him a great shove down the back straightaway. And when that happens and you've got the cars spread out like this, you can get some separation in a hurry. So Doucette and Montgomery and everybody else on back, they need to be very disciplined and make all the right moves right now just to stay in touch with these two. But it looks like we've got the front 6 maybe about to get back together here.
That is absolutely correct, as it looks like Jeremy B. Davis and Brandon McKissick have been working together quite well to reach this pack. They've been kind of ducking low into the corners, and that's really gained them some time on these fellas.
Yep. Safe to say, the front 6 are, for all intents and purposes, back together, but Dylan Roberts would like the race to be between himself and Blake Reynolds. He's been pushing that 66 ever since that incident on the back straightaway. But to no avail, here they come on the bottom, led by the 51 of Doucette. Now Reynolds leaves Roberts out there on the outside and decides to block that charge on the inside, working the lanes as they go down the back straightaway.
This, of course, might help that second pack, as these 6 drivers, are now side by side. That will slow them down a little bit, so we might just get a 10-car race for the lead.
As it is, we've got 6 cars under a blanket maneuvering around each other. They want to be, all 6 of them want to be the one that walks away with $50 tonight. Doucette takes the lead through 3 and 4 and loses it in the tri-oval as Reynolds crosses underneath them and then immediately back up to the top side. We're seeing some very aggressive driving as we get down to 5 laps to go. But that's the name of the game, right?
Oh, yeah. We've seen it time and time again in WINSTEL. Everybody, as soon as it's about 5 to go, the intensity ratchets up maybe about 100-fold from halfway.
Now things a little bit sorted as they work into turn 3 this time. As soon as I say that, right on cue, here comes Dylan Roberts surging on the bottom.
What a move.
And that gets him even with Reynolds as they work down the front straightaway towards the stripe. 4 laps to go this time by.
4 laps to go. That outside line kind of separated a little bit between the front two. This will, of course, help the inside line, but as I say that, they get separated, and the top line kind of gets reorganized.
And it's all happening in a hurry. The little bit of separation makes you pay very quickly, but you can get it back very quickly. With only 3 cars working in each lane, there's not a lot of room for error.
It is absolutely correct, as Nick Doucette is really pushing that 66 out there. They have separated from Dustin Montgomery, and they have surged ahead of the pack.
As they come down the front straightaway, they're going to come to 3 laps to go this time. It's Reynolds, Doucette, Roberts, Davis, Montgomery, and McKissick all in the fray for the win. Here comes Doucette to the bottom of Reynolds looking for help. He gets none. Roberts fills the hole and charges into second.
Dylan Roberts now right on the bumper of that 66 machine. He is all over the bumper. He's giving him one of those tandem drafts, but I don't think they're pulling away that much, as here comes Jeremy B. Davis.
The challenge they have for everybody third on back is if they make that move, they need to have some help on the bottom. Right now, It seems like the 31 and 66 have been pretty dedicated to working with each other. I think they want to try to sell it between the two of them if they can. Here comes Doucette again, trying to work on the bottom, trying to get third. Not going to have enough momentum to get that move cleared, and that's going to create some separation between them and the top two.
But that is, of course, going to bring those other two back into play, as here comes Dustin Montgomery underneath Nicholas Doucette. He had way too big of a run to follow him. So here he comes up to fourth, and now he's looking for third.
Montgomery getting a push from Brandon McKissick back into contention here. A load of steam down the back straightaway. They are coming very, very fast on the top two, trying to get to the inside of that 31. Now Roberts is going to get down to cover up that run, and Reynolds follows suit.
Ooh, here comes Dustin Montgomery. I thought Dylan Roberts was about to make the move, but Blake Reynolds shut the door on him. Here comes Dustin Montgomery. We're coming to the white flag. 1 to go.
1 lap to go and $50 on the line. Either you win it or you go home with nothing. It's Reynolds in the lead, and it gets turned!
It gets turned! It's the big one!
Dylan Roberts sneaks through on the bottom and takes the lead.
Dylan Roberts with a huge lead over Dustin Montgomery. Is it going to be enough to hold him off? How hard will he block him?
It's going to be between these two if they keep it clean. Montgomery trying to get a sniff of Dylan Roberts' draft, trying to get enough of a run to make something happen. They work through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. It's Roberts in the 31, Montgomery in the 12, off at turn 4. He's got a run, he's got a shot. What will he do with it? He looks to the inside, he looks to the outside. He's not going to get there. Roberts wins the WINSTEL Shootout to kick off WINSTEL 400 Speed Weeks.
That was quite the event, as it came down to the line pretty much, but Dustin Montgomery was not able to do anything with Dylan Roberts. He's going to pick up the win in the WINSTEL Shootout.
And for Blake Reynolds, takes the white flag as the leader and doesn't see turn 2. 6 cars in contention at the white flag, and at the end of the day, 2 of them left to battle it out by the time they come off of turn 4. Going to definitely have to take a look and see what unfolded there and how it happened. But for Dylan Roberts, he hits the jackpot here and is going to go home the winner.
As we see on the broadcast, there's Blake Reynolds' car. Absolute heartbreak for that 66 machine, as he leads at the white flag but does not get the win.
Here is the replay. We see Montgomery and McKissick with a big run, and it looked to me like Reynolds had established his position pretty well. It's just a huge run coming at him on the bottom there. Big shoves coming from Montgomery via Brandon McKissick, and they just all come together. Boy, that's the white flag at Daytona, you know?
Yeah, that is absolutely correct, as it looks like Nicholas Doucette took a pretty hard hit.
And right here, it's looking like Dylan Roberts is possibly not going to have any time to make something happen, and
wow,
by inches is able to clear that calamity in front of him. And as he gets onto the back straightaway, suddenly finds himself in the catbird seat. How quickly things change.
That is absolutely correct, Tyler, as when Roberts going to make that left hand. Oh, he's going to do burnouts in the pit lane. Oh, he can't do that. But that's going to be a
not
fine.
Going to be happy. Oh,
not going to be happy at all.
So Dylan Roberts picking up the win here. Dustin Montgomery comes in second. In third ended up being Jeremy Davis, who was the focal point of the one and only caution tonight. Logan Kress ends up coming home fourth. Brendan McGee fifth. Aaron Smith the second, sixth. Blake Reynolds, after that heartbreak on the final lap, ends up scored seventh. Gabriel Mauricio eighth. Brandon Cruz Monsivice ninth. And Christian Budd rounds out the top 10.
Jose Salas Jr. finishing 11th. Philip Snipes finishing 12th. Brandon McKissick 13th. Nicholas Doucette 14th. And Emily Howe rounds out your field 3 laps down in 15th.
A lot of disappointment on that page. McKissick running third, giving the big shove to Montgomery entering turn 1. Have to think that McKissick thought he had a shot to do something on that final lap. Wasn't to be.
Absolutely correct.
But as it was, 30 laps and lived up to the billing. A lot of intense racing in a very short amount of time. They didn't waste a single lap out there tonight.
No, they did not. As man, Dylan Roberts takes the victory. I thought Dustin would have had a little bit more something for him on the last lap. I don't know if he got any damage from that collision with Blake, but I thought he was going to be coming with a huge head of steam. But obviously, it wasn't meant to be. Dylan did a great job blocking.
Yeah, I think Montgomery had a little bit of a something coming off of turn 4, but once Dylan covered it up, got a little bit of that push from Dustin, and that sealed the deal for him. Dustin needed to be able to get to one of the quarter panels of that 31 to have a shot coming to the line. Dylan Roberts did a great job to cover that up. We'll see if maybe we can get somebody into the broadcast booth with us here to talk about their run tonight in the WINSTEL 400. This is, as I said, the first event of the WINSTEL 400 Speed Weeks tomorrow night. We are going to have pole qualifying for the WINSTEL 400. That's at 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night. One timed lap for everybody that participates. The top 2 are going to be locked into the show, and the pole winner is going to walk away with $25. So that'll be fun tomorrow night. Friday and Saturday next week, we have heat race number 1 on Friday at 8:30 p.m., and we have heat race number 2 and number 3 at 7:30 and 8:40 p.m. respectively on Saturday. Top 12 advance from each of those events. So between qualifying and the heat races, that's going to account for 38 of the 43 starters. Brennan McGee and Emily Howe are locked in as promoters. The last chance qualifier on Sunday is going to account for our final 3, and then we're off to the races at 7:30 p.m. on Sunday, January 16th for the WINSTEL 400, 160 laps on this bumpy old Daytona on iRacing, shown right here on ftf.gg. $1,250 in prizes overall, all coming with no entry fee to our participants. A great event, now in its 10th year. I believe we have our winner on standby. Dylan Roberts joins us after a wild 30 and especially 30th lap to conclude the WINSTEL Shootout. Dylan, congratulations.
Thank you. That was an incredible race. Just absolutely incredible. Huge shout out to everybody, especially up in that front pack. That was just great racing.
We were saying it as we looked at the replay of what happened. In real time, I was thinking to myself, right before everything broke out, it looks like the 31's found himself in the wrong end of where the runs are coming from as we work into this final lap. And that changed in a moment.
Yeah, I'd picked up on it about coming in, like down the backstretch to the white flag. I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to be passed before we hit the white flag. I got to try to set this up as best I can for the checker. So I tried to set myself up. That's why I moved so high off the tri-oval there, trying to get in, get that huge run behind McKissick. And I don't know, as soon as I got in behind him with the run, they just all drove into each other, and I snuck on through.
I mean, if you've had a chance to look at the replay, it was inches between you and I think it was Reynolds' car that was spinning there. And then you get onto the backstretch. It looks like you've got it, but Montgomery's still coming behind you with a run. I mean, what was it like from the cockpit?
I didn't think I won it until I crossed the checkered flag. I mean, seeing them all wreck behind me and having one car 3/10 back, I mean, that's the worst feeling on a plate track, because you know you're just a sitting duck. And I don't know if he had damage or something about how I manipulated the air. I don't know what I did to keep him behind me. He just never was able to materialize the run.
Well, as it was a very impressive performance by you, and I hope it was as fun in the cockpit as it was for us to watch, because that was, only one stoppage for a caution and, 30 laps of pretty intense racing from up here.
Oh, absolutely. For all of us drivers, I mean, we briefly touched on it at the end of the race in the voice chat. We all had a blast. It was a ton of fun out there today. I mean, a lot of really hard, respectful racing. Just a lot of give and take, a lot of take at the end, but I mean, it put on a great show, and it was a lot of fun for all of us.
All right.
Off the speed weeks here for us.
All right, Dylan. Obviously, this is only the first event of Speed Weeks. What are your expectations for pole qualifying tonight in your heat races? What do you think? Where do you think you're going to stack up in those?
See, qualifying, I don't know. I did something wrong tonight, and I gotta figure out what it was for tomorrow because Blake had that on lock. I think he's my pick for the pole. If he can pull that lap out again tomorrow, I gotta figure something out. I've got some work to do. I think the heats. I'm pretty confident. I learned a lot tonight. I mean, we've done a decent amount of testing to get this car where we want it, and I think I can pull something together in the heats.
All right, very good, very good.
I certainly wouldn't count you out. Again, congratulations, Dylan.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, big fella.
Again, that's Dylan Roberts, the winner of tonight's WINSTEL Shootout, which kicks off Speed Weeks for the WINSTEL 400, again, in its 10th year. Brennan McGee, one of tonight's participants, promoter of this event since its inception in 2013. Of course, doing everything he can to generate buzz around this event. And I know that everybody that participates in it and has participated in it looks forward to this one each year. Brandon Cruz, Montsevice, and Emily Howe also in tonight's field. They contributed greatly to that purse that I mentioned. $1,250 in prizes over the course of the next 9 days for everybody involved with no entry fee. Of course, streaming tonight on FTF.gg. Shout out to Zach Johnson, who is providing the stream for every event in Speed Weeks here on FTF.gg. Big thanks to him. I'm not sure if we'll have anybody else to come up here into the broadcast booth. It looks like not. It looks like not. It looks like the only person we need to talk to is Dylan, and that's just fine. I like talking to Dylan, and I like
my man Dylan.
Like they say brevity is the soul of wit, and I apparently have neither in the last minute here. So, coming up next on FTF.gg, immediately after this, it's FTF Preseason Thunder at Daytona. That's going to be followed up by Grape Drink. I'm Tyler Head. For Parker Alexander and everybody else that's been with you tonight, thank you for watching the WINSTEL Shootout. We'll see you for pole qualifying tomorrow night.